interesting to watch so for those who are not in the realm of science fiction, there's this whole thing that's happening right now where white, straight men are protesting because they feel like they're being left out or pushed out, displaced from science fiction award culture. And you know, so I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, oh man, I don't even know how to talk about that. But I do, because one of the things that we've talked about is that there's a thing about quality, right? That it lines up with affirmative action stuff that's happened for always, which is like, wait, we don't want you to get the award just because you're black or just because you're a woman or whatever. And I feel the same way. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get that way either. I want to be the best fucking writer ever, but I want to be able to see that, even though I'm black and queer, blah, blah, blah. So it's this, push and pull thing. What we thought was important was to actually enter the race, like get in there with our own fiction, but to have it be good. So, it's I don't know someone said this, politics kills art, right? And so we know we're walking a fine line by trying to inject something into science fiction, but not have it be straight up propaganda, right? We really want something that is high quality artwork, high quality writing that tells beautiful stories, and that I think will win the awards because it's great, not because of anything else. And the conversation is raging right now in that community. And I think that, my thing is like, go have your private process about how it feels to be a white displaced person. I'm sure that that's hard. I don't know, I can never imagine it. But I do know that I'm going to keep offering up the work, and just saying, like, just read the work. Because I think that, nothing in here, and I talk about this, like, I don't hate white people, I hate white supremacy. And I feel like there's nothing in this collection that is just like a straight up, hatred of white people or white men or straight men or any of that. It's like, yay, all humans, great. It's just also, who are we centering? And I think the main issue is actually just being discomfort, the discomfort of being decentered. And what does that mean for your identity? I think men across all these races are also dealing with this now. I've been having all these interesting relationship conversations. And what does it mean to be dating and falling in love in a straight world right now with this decentering of men that's been happening for a few decades? And just how does it feel, And I think, not that I want to be like, oh, wait, poor men, but I do feel like there's a way that we could be more compassionate about the fact that, like, that is also a change. It's not what you expected. It's not what you were told to expect. And that something else is happening. And how do you humble yourself to that new thing happening? And how do we make that a safe place to land? So I feel like when I did work in social justice with Ruckus, this was a major thing of like, we're trying to talk about white activists not being at the center of everything. So it's not like, oh, this thing is happening with black people. Well, where do I stand as a white person inside of that? It's just like, I know, but it's not about you. Like, the place you can stand is just one step back. And I think the same is true in any field. It's just like, what does it mean to just take a step back? And you're also important, and the work you're going to do is also important, but it'll be outside of that central place. And I have a lot of compassion for that work being necessary. And I want to uplift Catalyst. I kind of want to send Catalyst over to do a big training at the Hugo Awards, because I feel like Catalyst does great work around how white folks work with white folks around taking responsibility for how to decenter gracefully. So.
Anyone else?